Ancestors on the wall, let the ghost chit chat. Ancestors on the wall, let the ghost chit chat. Let the ghost chit chat.
Sitting with the ghosts up in my house. Sitting with the ghosts, their mouths are shut. Sitting with the ghosts, they speak through me. Sitting with the ghosts, they holler.
Sitting with my ancestors are here. They're telling me that I'm too smart to let anything worry me, to let anything get the best of me. Uyavuma. Kanda pants, uyavuma. Kanda pantsy. Sitting with my ancestors. Sitting with my ancestors. Sitting with my let the ghost. Sitting with my let the ghost. Sitting with my ancestors. Sitting with my ancestors. Hey, 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 hey. Wow, I'm a drum percussions. I love it.
Once we actually make this into a song, like it's gonna be a banger. This is Fonela piano. So hello Janos. Ayenzen Didings, my brad. Do this thing, do this thing, do this thing. Hello everybody.
Hi.
San Bononi.
Welcome.
Dumelang, welcome back to Bonolo, the podcast.
Welcome, co-host.
Oh, thank you so much, co-host.
Hi.
Who am I co-hosting with today? Who are you?
My name is Vuyo, Vuyo the Sun. Full name, Vuyo Kazi, Nomatamsanga Ndomozogonyamega Mgoduka. And who are you, co-host? Guamanje.
Oh, okay.
And then Vuyo Guama clan names, Mrs. Ngena.
Sianza Ama interims. Hello everyone. My name is Palesa. Some people know me as Mbali. And my last name is Koitsiwe, even though there's some controversies happening, which you'll hear about in this episode. And Kimatlako Matutu, which means I come from Tlakong, from the Northwest Province. I am of Botswana lineage, and I'm a Botswana person. So, and I'm queer, because today we're out here in our bag.
In our queer bag. In our queer bag, in our bag,
in our queer bag.
The way we break out into songs so often.
In our queer bag, in our bag. It's not a satchel, it's a bag. It's not a purse, no, it's a bag. It's not a purse, no, it's a bag, it's a bag, it's a bag, it's a bag. In our queer bags.
My lord. My lord.
Good luck to me who's editing all of this.
Oh my gosh.
Good luck to me.
It's going to be great. It's going to be so great. So today, we will be talking about clan names. So I have been doing some research because this is the journey, honey. This is the journey. So I actually had to call around and actually employ Google to tell me.
Not employ Google.
Employ Google to tell me some things that I didn't know about my family and my ancestry. We're talking about the difference between clan names and last names, as well as what tribes are. Because I didn't know there was a difference. I was just okay, so who is this and who was this? And so there's some depth in here, and we're going to be exploring how tribes are set up, how clans are set up, and then who my people are and where I come from a little bit, because this identity thing is like a big ocean that you dip your toe in, and 100%. Then you just whoa, whoa.
Whoa.
Marasbonga Badala.
Yes.
To tell you a little bit more, mna ndingowakwa Mgoduka. Ndibiza ifani yakwa Mgoduka. I call the last name of Mgoduka is my mother's last name. And my father's last name is Uyako, and bona basuka emandlaneni.
Oh, I think I know why. Kunenema bride price.
Yes.
Sorry, my caveats.
Yeah.
I asked Vuyo not to give me all of the tea of what they were going to be sharing with us because I also want to be caught, and I just kind of like put one and together, and I made 3. So we're here.
Damages. Oh, I'm kidding. Sorry.
I mean, even the language.
The language.
Damages.
That is what they call it.
They're damaged when they're born.
It's really problematic.
Honestly.
It's really problematic.
I mean, out of wedlock was far enough. Out of wedlock was a far enough statement. Now, damages? Please, let's not rush ahead.
Damages, they were like our child.
Continue,
okay.
Mgoduka, yes.
So, Mgoduka, ndingunyathi ubdede, unogixwa imibengo. Umphankomo, uphahlo, ucengeba, umthwakazi, save, undlebendlovu, mziwe welanga. Yo, ngwanya, somdolo, mzwelibanzi, noholisa, unomakhala, njuzwa, sithukutezi, sithandwa, mhlakubi. Oh, Stando Mhlagubi, which means love when it is dark, love when it is ugly. Wow. Wow. Ngoma, Nzabela. Utole lenkwa ka. Yo. I feel like I'm gonna have to start this.
Please don't start it again. Continue from where you are, because again, it's that natural state, right? This is the authenticity that we're talking about. It's the learning curves. It's the not knowing how to really fully pronounce it.
Yeah.
There's also a lot there.
There's so
pronounce.
many. Yeah.
And so if you want to take a break and kind of run us through what it is that you're currently doing,
okay,
then we can kind of follow through.
So, okay, some context. At home, I am going through our clan names, so our ancestral praise names, which are the attributes given to give praise to the people who came before us. So when you recognize by clan, so my clan is Gwanyati, and my mother's clan name is Ujola, and I use both their clan names as praises to give honor to both of them, and they are of Mpondo descent, which is their tribe, and their clan is Nyati.
Yeah.
If is some complexity there, and then there are also Xhosa people, but of a tribe of Xhosa people called the Mpondo people. Yeah.
So then I guess a really good differentiator in the levels is to ask like what is the category of Xhosa? I guess would go back to our previous episode. Nguni would be that. So it's like the Nguni tribes, and then in that is a Xhosa person, and then in that is Mpondo.
Yes,
person.
Mpondo. The Tembus and
and then in that is then you and everybody who comes after in your family. Okay, that makes sense.
And so the praise names are a way to welcome the ancestors into the room. So our ancestors are recognized and called on by these clan names. These are like descriptors of like, so Ujolinkomo, Phahlo, Ngeba, Mthwakazi. These are all like their names given to people and also attributes given to them to like you who like again there's the umfazazana ubelede oncancisela ngaphesheya komfula is like a descriptor of a person who has enough generosity. It's like the physical is umuntu anamabele. Onomele, just titties.
So Tina, Snellisa.
Over
the
Mlandana, which is just like a show of generosity. I don't know what all of them mean, which is the I guess a part of the journey of like understanding or deepening my understanding of what the ancestral clan names mean as I'm like reclaiming my own identity and deepening that understanding.
Yeah.
But as I was doing it, there was this sense of like wanting to delve deeper and just like further my relationship, and also being struck by how much I don't know. After just as I was like asking the questions, more questions came up, and I was like, oh, like, okay, so what does this mean, and what does this mean? And then if this means, if Onyati, for instance, are from this place, is this a location? And then my mom was like, no, Onyati occupy a land which is called an Intlenga, which is like a location, and then they themselves will call themselves the Nyati people, and so that land is now known as Gwanyati because the people populate the land, but that is not the original
name of the land. That's really interesting, because I think for my family it's the opposite, right? Or maybe not even the opposite, but like it takes into consideration the land as well. But I'll go into mine afterwards. But I really like that differentiation of like, even as we see it here with the unceded ancestral lands of the the Tsleil-Waututh, the Squamish, and the Musqueam folks. They are Musqueam because the land is Musqueam, at least in my understanding of the way that we're recognizing the lands as tied to the peoples. And so I wonder, even for them, like, what is that association? And for you folks, because what is the area called? Entlenga. I would think people would call them Ontlengazi or something like that. Ontlenga, whatever. But instead of Wanyati. And Inyati, what does Inyati mean? What is Inyati?
Inyati is a water buffalo. It is, there's a lot of animal symbolism. I was actually I was listening to this person talk about this, and a lot of our Black and Xhosa clan names are linked to animals. So there is a dove in Iobe, a dove in my mother's lineage, and then there's also my grandmother is Ujola, which is like an animal as well. So I'm like bit of a sidetrack here, and then my dad's side has bees as their animal symbol, but they were emphasizing this idea, the link between nature and how our ancestors show up through these animals and symbols, and how we're not separate from what we perceive to be nature. We are a physical manifestation of that same divine, same living essence. And so as we express ourselves and also get communication from ancestors, we come in different forms and manifest as these different beings, and not just as our human physical bodies, because spirit can be used, and spirit can use different manifestations of animal bodies to come and receive and give us messages. And it's really cool though. I'm still it's
so excited to see the joy in your face as well, because this is a drastic change from when we started talking about what this season is going to be about in general. We were very apprehensive at that point. I mean, I was apprehensive, but me, fake it till you make it. And so, but I feel like, I don't know, I'm one to throw myself in the deep end. I'm if I'm gonna do it, let me be deadly afraid and then go ahead and do it. But I want to, before you move on, to come back to maybe doing the same amount of explanation of my thing. And then we can come back as well, because I want to get to the point of why you're using your mom's name versus your dad's name, and kind of what you had told me in our pre-planning situation. But I also thought, before I forget, Mgoduga is somebody who moves, right? It's a traveling or a nomad or something. And you were talking about how come you are traveling or what you're doing here, and it's even in your last name, even in the name you're using, Mgoduga, Godugile, for real. You know what I'm saying? So I just came to me. So, hello everyone.
Hello.
So as folks will know, if you listen to the first couple of episodes, ke motlhako wa matutu. And for me, it's interesting because the deeper that I go into it, the more that I realize also that all of our praise names and, clan names, or even ways of conjuring up and inviting ancestors and spirit in, is in songs, is in poems, it's an art form. It's like because even in the way that you introduce yourself, it's very much like we are ula, it's like a song that you're singing from deep within your soul. And so, even when I say like motlhako wa matutu, I feel it, like ke motlhako, batlhako ba matutu. And so motlhako is a person of the land, go tlhakong. So in the northwest in South Africa, there is in Rustenburg a spot called Tlhakong, right? And we are the people of Tlhakong. So re batlhako, we are the people of the land. My it's really interesting because our clan name is Batlhako, right? My last name is Goitsiwe. But when I was much younger, I had heard randomly the story about how my last name was actually an Afrikaans name, Kutsia.
Oh.
And was then changed or integrated into the Tswana language and turned into Goitsiwe, apparently, right? So that was what I heard when I was younger. Then I was talking to my cousin in preparation of this whole season, and he told me something else. He was like, my grandfather took that name, it's a Tswana name, and he turned it into our last name. And so my mom just confirmed for me this morning that no, in fact, it did come from Kitsia, and that was because of apartheid. And so my work now is going to be going back and figuring out how folks were given their last names under the apartheid regime that weren't actually their names. Because my great-grandfather's last name is Mabe, right? And that's why our village is called Mabiskral, because it's Mabe's area. And so I'm wondering, like, why wasn't Mabe the name we continued with? Why did it have to be Goitsiwe? But now if you think about it being Kitsia, then you realize that it was based on oppression, that people had to take on these Afrikaans names as their last names. And so, even talking about the beauty of identity and kind of identifying yourself and one's evolution, even thinking about how now it's being subsumed into a Tswana name. Like, there was a place somewhere there where they were like, rebellion, we're going to reconfigure this and make it a Tswana, in a Tswana spelled way. Our last name has probably got like 3 or 4 different spellings, but all of those people are my family. And so you can find it spelled with a U, you find it spelled with a W, mine is a OE, but everybody who spells it in that sense or has that name really is my people. In the best way to place it.
Do you know how that name transference came to be? Like, is it... Wow.
No, because like I said, I had contradicting information, At one point it was, yes, it came from the Afrikaans name. At one point it was, no, it's a Tswana name. And so I'm like, well, then what is it? Is it a Tswana name? Did it come from Afrikaans name? Is it both? And where did that change happen? So that's going to be my work for when we carry this on in the next episode, is to figure out, like, again, that reclamation process, when did we reclaim being Tswana over being Afrikaans? Because if we're truly going about clan names and we're truly talking about, the way that it embeds identity, then in some part of me, I have to identify as a Boer, right? If my name is Kutsia. So it's like, how does one disengage all of that? But also to learn, like, that is how deeply, directly, like, Afrikaans folks were in my family's business. Is to even assign one a last name, even on the lands upon which you reside, It's really, really, it's really intense. It's really intense.
That's true.
And so, talking about the animal totems. So we are the people. So Rabatuba mu is soil in Tswana, metsi is water, and naha is like field, land, or grass. But our totem is the elephant, right? And so honama is to be like tough. And so this poem that I'm going to read for you is called Lepoko in Tswana, and it's a poem yabatako, and it basically emphasizes how we are as Honama is to be strong, is to be fortified, but as the back of the elephant, like the middle part of the elephant, that's really, really hard. I forget what that part is called in English, but that is what we are, and that's what this poem says. So ke masudubela a mo khopanana se go ting boima ga fetole re mo fetela motlang antsing motlang a emeng re mo fetela a ka tsa serota-rotane ke serota-rotana that I was talking about ke letlapa le le kwa bodikadika le le kileng la kae-kaewa ke banna kana ga ka tse gang kitse gang kgopole ha ka mpha sebata ka apara e reng ba mpone ba re motho a apere mopo mo shibidu tlong kgolo ya madisanyane ke tlo e shena meno ibile entse re thakaka meno a yona a bogale jaka dinaka tsa nare ke tlo kgolo e sa jwang ke bagolo le bana. Right? And so in parts of that there's like, again what you were saying is these attributes, being likened to a rock that has just like if you go to the Northwest, there are rocks that are on top of each other in a way that does not make sense. They're like on the tips of each other, high up the ground, that if there was an earthquake, which there's probably been in that area, they have not toppled. But you could not balance that rock the way that it's balanced on the other boulder. You could not. And so that's also what this, this poem kind of talks about. And, then it talks about, ho'apara mupo mushibidu. So it's like a cloak or a specific garb that you would wear so that you are recognized again. So it's about the showmanship. It's like, when I'm welcoming in my ancestors, that's why there's ritual. That's why there's ceremony. That's why there's dancing that you do, because it's not like, hey, what's up? How you going? How you hanging? It's like, hey, let me invite the energy. Let me invite source. Let me invite the real like atoms and the movement and the heat and the friction and the passion into it, because that's really that aliveness, that state of aliveness for me is what I feel when I'm calling out to my ancestors and inviting them in as well. And so
praises.
Oh, we're gonna call it that. Okay, clan praise names. I wonder if in your clan praise names, if you identify any other folks outside of your family that walk with you, as part of the collective. Because even like what you were saying, there's a clan, right? But then there's a tribe, and so in that tribe, there are folks with different clan names in there, right? And so similarly for us, and so these are all people as last names, right? But and so it's like, I just love this like collectiveness. It's so romantic. But yes, I'm curious.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. Still in the process of delving deeper into that, but I found out that, so we are Amatembu and Kwamatembu are Amandlane. So we are the Ndlane people. And among those, the first one that I came across was Madiba.
Oh.
Madiba is part of the clans of Madiba Mdala.
If you don't know what we're doing, go and Google the Madiba dance.
Madiba dance.
And you will be able to understand fully my people. Oh, no. Tata Madiba,
when
please.
We walk together. Yes. Yo, I can't. I can't even do it.
To be the Rainbow Nation.
Yes.
I told them that FW declared Must. Fuck off.
PW Botha.
PW Botha. I was in Robben Island.
In 8 and 7. I'm kidding.
Madiba, we're not disrespecting you. We're honoring
All
you.
love.
All love.
But yeah, that was like one of them that I came across. There are like 9 more that I'm like familiarizing myself with the names of. But yeah, there's within that. The distinction between clan and tribe is something that is like still setting in. But yeah, we do not walk alone. Like we are siyamba nabantu esizalana nabo. And so a person, here's what I found interesting, that a person with the same clan name, so a person who is umthembu, and then a person who is like a part of your clan, even if you have the same last name but have a different, if you have the same last name but have a different clan name, that person technically is a stranger from you. You doesn't necessarily mean that you are related, but if you have the same clan name, that means your ancestors are linked. But it's because the names are kind of chosen. Like a person can be of a different clan entirely and have the same chosen name. So my dad's side, Uyako, was a name that was chosen by five people in the same family that had moved and separated from their clan, and they were like, we're going to come together, and our lineage from now on forward is going to be called Uyako, but we are of the Ndlane people, the Ndlane clan. And then like it's fascinating. I'm still delving a little deeply.
Wow.
But yeah.
Wow. Even just realizing, like, you know, because when people talk about like tribal wars and stuff like that, it would be, you know, Xhosa people, Zulu people, Ndebele people, Swati people, Sotho people, Tswana people, Pedi people. So, you know, a tribe is that, and then beneath the tribe is your clan, which will then be Undlane, Batak, or whatever the case is, and then you get people's last names. But I'm intrigued to go back because I use my father's last name, Koitsiwi, and as I said in the other episode, when your parent marries the person that will become your other parent, you assume the patriarchal lineage. So I was already just subsumed into being a Tswana person. And so I use my dad's last name because he paid the dowry, he did Yonkindo, they had the cultural exchanges and all the things that were supposed to happen. And so that's why he has the privilege, one could even say, to have us as the children carry on his last name as we go forward. Now, I'm curious because you use your mom's name.
I do.
Why is that? And if you weren't using your mom's name, would it just be Oyako instead of Mkotuka? Okay, I see. But yes, please.
Igama lakhe nguNomfundi, so she would not want me to say that where anyone can hear. But yeah, she essentially gave birth to myself and my brother. And both of us use her last name because traditionally in South Africa, when a child is born, they are patriarchal. We live in a patriarchal culture, so the dad is automatically, or not automatically, but the dad is assumed to, how do you say, not own.
to basically have the
rights.
Yeah, a level of a right to pass on that name, right? Yes. To carry on that lineage as well. Yes. But it's not just assumed just because you're a father. It's assumed because you're a father who paid intlaulo or whatever.
So, yes. So I use my mother's name because utatawam, or my dad, did not hlaula myself and my brother when we were born. It's an interesting situation. I won't go too deep into it. But because of this, so I would otherwise be using the Yako surname as well as clan names. And so I would be Nomdim, which I still am technically, but it's not formally recognized ancestrally and also by the government. So I my dad's clan names are actually interesting because I started doing research into both of them. So my dad is Undlane Ututusu Nomdimba Untlokwane Banzana Upengele Tsigeni, which means a person who cuts from the meat before it's even fully cooked.
That is kind of like a namesake for Ngabadal Intlaulo because it's really cutting from the meat before it's even cooked. Okay, the bitch. Okay.
Oh my god. Yo. And the uthambo lenyoka lihlabela imzonda unjingwa umalulu lalani.
Wow, these names.
They are
reading your father for filth.
They are reading.
I'm sorry, because a snake does not have a bone. Uguti, it has a bone. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Tatu Yako, I'm very sorry, please. I'm not disrespecting you, but these clan names are reading you for filth, babe.
They are
grabbing you by the eyeballs.
It's
all we're saying is Batalani, pay your dues, y'all. And I think that some of these ancient practices like dowries, the bride price, or like intlaulo, which is, how do you even translate intlaulo? Because the way that they use it in English is damages. And it's not damages, but let's give some context. So in South Africa, if you do not pay the bride price, so you don't pay or offer the exchange to the family for the bride that you're going to take from them, then you're obviously not going to get married, right? Now, when you have impregnated that person and you also don't pay the bride price, what happens culturally is they will offer you almost like a back door. And this back door is for you to still be able to have your right, right? Over the children.
Honor.
Yes, and to honor exactly your responsibility and your obligation and your duty to care for the children is called intlaulo, which is in English called damages, but it's called damages in English because I think there's also this perverse way of thinking about women who are pregnant and don't have a man connected to their hip. It means that then she is damaged because then if there's another person who would be interested in marrying her, they have to account for the fact that she already has children, which essentially brings the bride price down. And so because the family would still be kind of cut on the side by that bride price going down, they don't get cut because you're already giving to fill that hole that you created. When you translate it into English, it's barbaric. When you translate it into English, when you try to say it in English, but when you actually go back home and you understand even beneath the money, even beneath the price, even beneath all of that, it's like an obligation and a duty to not just go around impregnating people or causing havoc in people's lives or including and intruding yourself without consequence. You know, this lack of consequence thing that's like, consequence, cancel culture is a very in the West thing. Like accountability is a massive thing for us. Now, does it happen smoothly? No. Are there some folks who should have been I'm gonna stop here because I'm about to be
start reading people for filth. Also, like, just acknowledging like another element or part of that is paying respect to the amount of effort, time, love, nourishing that the parents of the people or the bride, proverbial bride in this instance, have put into raising this person and like loving and nourishing this person. And when you come in and say, hey, I am I'm acknowledging that you have raised and taken care of this wonderful human, and I want to make a family, make a life with this human. Like when you do that, which is like when you pay the bride price and then you like take the person and you're married, and there's that container to be like, okay, thank you for taking care of her thus far. I'm going to give thanks to you in the form of this bride price. So there is also an honoring of that family lineage. Damage it. I hate this word. I hate the wording. It sucks.
Just use intlawulo.
But intlawulo is also when you have impregnated law, when you have had a child out of wedlock with a person, it is to say, hey, like, I am also acknowledging that I have it's intense, but the direct words are like, I have caused shame upon your family.
Linked with shame. 100%.
There is definitely some shame in there, and also like an acknowledgement of respect and an honoring of the parents of the person that you have now like had a child with.
Especially when you have no intention of really being in the child's life. And I think that, you know, that was maybe even a remedy that folks came up with in the past, is like, yes, fine, you are the sperm donor to this child here. You don't necessarily have to fulfill your fatherly duties if it's not something you're interested in, but you are going to respect and honor what you did, and you are going to pay intlawulo, and you're going to offer those things. And I feel like even in the past, intlawulo, even the bride price was not money. In the past, bride price was a cow, was clothes, was blankets, was, things that one was trading with in the far off lands that you would gather and garner, this memorabilia, these
and
things.
Bringing abundance and like more really wealth to the family.
Yeah, because I think what would be really cute, even though a bitch like me ain't getting married, what would be really cute is to talk about what happens in our ceremonies when we get married. And you think of where they have to come in, and the groom's family comes in and has to bring like blankets and all these amazing things, and then and then the aunts and the uncles come and sit in like down, and they'll get handed like a cane, or they'll get handed like a blanket and a hat and a this and a that thing, and obviously a Jack Daniels or whatever it is that the family wants. But what's really interesting is this dance. It's very much a dance, because even if vulumlomo translates to opening the mouth, but technically opening the throat, is what uncles will ask for before you even start negotiations. It's like, are you even so ready that you're willing to come with something for the throat?
We will not
because
even talk
we are thirsty.
to you.
How can I talk to you through the thirstiness?
And like there's a price to pay, a respect to pay before I even open my mouth and acknowledge you as a man coming to talk to our child, our how do I like
beloved,
our beloved. Are you worthy? Are you worthy of us even interacting with you?
Yeah.
And then you have to say, this comes in the form of money. This is the gifts.
And
this is
not
the
even part of the bride price.
It's not even part of the bride price. This is, hey,
I
would like to introduce myself.
Yes.
I would love to like honor you, I'm here to show who I am and what I've got. Like, yes, I've got some words. Will you talk to me? And then you're like, when you're like, when someone is like trying to bribe you low key, and then they're like, okay, are you gonna? How about now? Is it two? A little bit more? No. How about another one? Okay.
How about exactly? No. How about another one? But and now, obviously, as colonization, globalization, all of these things are taking control and separating again the spiritual dance in these cultural and tribal things that we do. It becomes a real bribing situation. It becomes very exorbitant. It becomes very scary as well for somebody who is supposed to be this bride that somebody is gonna have to pay for or wants to come and pay for and get, and then your family is asking for like 500,000 rand or is asking for like, I don't know, $250,000 or something like that, and it's like they're just looking at it being $250,000 and they're no longer looking at like honestly, because Mimi moved out of the house a long time ago, so you are not getting Mimi's money regardless. Like, it's those kinds of things, but I digress. This episode's gonna go on for 20 years if we don't cut it. So all that to say, there are different levels in your clan, your tribes, your surname, your identifiers, and we'll talk about how we gain a sense of belonging as we move forward. But cutting it now, cutting it now to the quirky South African things. Let's bring the people back. And I have a song to share as well this week.
Oh my gosh.
So, not me playing it. So, the quirky South African things. Yes. So my quirky South African thing today is a song. Ooh. Song by Izithakazelo. Goz. Okay? GQOZ. By Upasta 929. No Mafi Zozo. Yes.
Oh my God.
South Africa, you're a plug. But this song, it's delicious, and it goes very much like, as I was listening to it and preparing for the episode, I was like, we're really talking about amadlozi, we're really talking about ancestors, we're really talking about, that. And so in the song it says, Gizwang vogela idlozi, lingbiza maskozi, maskozi.
Oh my God.
Maskozi. It's a track and a half. Wow. You must listen to it. Pasta is really doing things. Ma pasta don't get sang. It's great.
Oh
anyway,
my God. I want to hear that.
You'll hear it after I almost played it for you anyway.
I'm like so ready to dance. I'm like, okay. Wow. I don't remember if y'all had ichepis.
Yeah.
So chepis is like a South African chewing gum. It lasts for like I was gonna say, my apple munch. I'm like remembering my young snack life. But it chippies, like I remember learning like these little fun facts. There was these chippies chewing gum, and then you'd wrap it up. It had a yellow wrapper on the outside. There was like cartoons, and it was like this like square thing, and it was kind of like rubbery. You chew it, and it'd be like done in like 2 minutes flat. Like all the sugar is out, but you just like keep chewing, like jazz to say and like all the parents would be like, so much like I was why and I was just like
those did you knows? Legendary.
Did you know?
Legendary.
Did you know that the zebra? I want to have like a fun fact now.
Yeah. Did you know the dinosaurs? Whatnot?
Yeah.
It was. It even had some political facts in there.
Yeah. Semenya, Mandela. Like it was like our info channel as like really young South African kids.
It really. That's people who made the
like, wow, like I didn't something. Yeah. Like I didn't know like koalas lived in Australia. I didn't know. Wow. Yeah. Like, oh, I'm learning about the world, and it was just like this like micro way of like absorbing information
sugar and intellectual prowess.
Trying to make you think and
enjoy.
Get you chewing
exactly. The setup is stirring up. Okay, it's a
setup. It is doing the thing.
It's a setup. Please tell us who set us up.
Shouting out our official sponsor, Rich Soul Foods. We're giving thanks. We are set up at Rich Soul Foods, the literal warehouse right now. And if you don't know about Rich Soul Foods, it is this beautiful family-owned company that ships herbs and healing medicine straight from St. Lucia. They harvest, the first product was sea moss, and now there's like a whole like catalog of things that you could like pick from. And they're doing a bunch of amazing work and bringing natural healing to the people. So if you don't know Rich Soul Foods, you better check them out and act like you know something about. I'm kidding. Ancestors on the wall, let the ghost chit chat. Ancestors on the wall, let the ghost chit chat. Let the ghost chit chat.
So Sitting with the ghosts up in my house. Sitting with the ghosts, their mouths are shut. Sitting with the ghosts, they speak through me. Sitting with the ghosts, they holler.
Sitting with my ancestors are here. They're telling me that I'm too smart to let anything worry me, to let anything get the best of me. Uyavuma. Kanda pants, uyavuma. Kanda pantsy. Sitting with my ancestors. Sitting with my ancestors. Sitting with my let the ghosts. Sitting with my let the ghosts. Sitting with my ancestors. Sitting with my ancestors. Hey, 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 hey.